let's get into the solicits. This is July solicits for this year, obviously. And we'll work through them. We'll see what's in there. Obviously, there's one or two juicy things to talk about that were announced separately, but we'll just get to them when we hit them in the solicits. We'll just go in the order they're on here on Newsarama. So first up is Batman Issue 125. Of course, it's still Chip Zdarsky with art by Jorge Jimenez on here. Special big issue, but it looks of it. Is it? I don't know, is that just a normal size with that?
Yeah, I mean, it is 125. Yeah, that's his first issue.
It's an extra $1, yeah, so there's some more pages. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some nice covers there, though. Like I'm looking through these, and there's some pretty ones. I like the blue cape's quite nice. It's always nice to see that look return.
I like the one where the bats make the face. I think that's quite clever.
Sure, that's not bad. There's I think it's the main cover. Well, it may not be the main cover. I don't know. I mean, who knows which one it is?
You talking about the red and black one?
No, it's the one after that, where Batman's jumping down and there's the bats like in the sky above him.
I think the main cover is actually, I want to say it's the last one. Yeah, it's that one, the one with. It's got the new logo on at the top, and it's got there's a black and white version as well. It's like Batman in purple with like Robin jumping out in front.
Yeah, well, I think it's just maybe purple lighting rather than.
Yeah. I didn't say he was like, I don't want to say he's dressed in purple, but he's in purple.
Aye. Which is strategical in the colouring part, because the yellow of Robin's cape contrasts more with purple than it would with the grey. So,
presumably why a very smart colorist made that decision.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it was a smart strategical choice.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's the main cover, because it's a wraparound.
It probably is. Yeah, but what's the one that's got the logo on it? Usually the one that has the logo on it is the main cover.
Yeah.
Especially since DC at a certain point stopped putting the logos on the variants. Obviously, we're excited for Zdarsky's run. It's interesting we're getting a new team on Detective and Batman the same month, so it's kind of like a new era for Batman, which is cool. We'll get to Detective in a little bit, of course. But
feels like a freshening up, and after Dark Crisis launching, that's nice.
It's kind of the post-Future State era, I assume, in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
I could put it that way, I suppose. Yeah.
Just in the sense that obviously we've had a couple of runs since Future State. Well, not on tech, but on Batman we've had the Williams stuff as well. But it still felt like it's firmly in that Future State era.
But speaking of Detective Comics 1062, the new team, which was teased. I mean, the team was announced, but we didn't know what book it was at first. It was just
and it was such a good team. I was like, it doesn't matter what book this is. It's going to be my most anticipated book.
So they said Ram V, Raphael Albuquerque, and it was like, oh, what is this? And then 2 days later, it's the new Detective Comics team. This is what we're doing.
Turns out there's a backup by Cy Spurrier and Danny.
Yeah.
It's like, my God, all cylinders on this book.
This I might have to start picking this back up physically, because I've been reading tech for a very long time now, digitally. But for Ramby and Albuquerque.
I am sad that Tamaki's run is ending, because I've really loved it. But it does always smooth things over when the new team's excellent. So
it does.
I'm really upset about it.
Fair, once you include the 12 issues of the Tower, like as part of the run, and
which
think
I
of
am
that as 12 issues and not 3 months, it's actually not a small run.
No,
it's small omnibus size, but probably just about, I'd say.
So, in terms of monthly schedule, it's a couple of years worth, maybe two and a half.
And this frees up Tamaki to do something new too. Yeah,
and I hope it is something at DC. I would love to see her on another book.
Yeah,
maybe there's something else in the Solicits that we haven't got to yet.
Maybe.
Slip in.
But this are you gonna go into what it's about, Pete?
It's a completely new team. So I'll read what this Solicit says. Gotham Nocturne Part 104 Overture. It's a new era for the Detective of the Night as we introduce award-winning new team Ram V, Raphael Albuquerque. Something is terribly wrong with Batman. No matter what test Bruce takes, nor the numbers he counts, the greatest detective in the world can't pin down the source of this creeping dread of his own inner demons and the looming mortality. Meanwhile, real demons roam the shadows as an ancient melody haunts the Gotham night. Here now, the curtains rise and the eerie tune streams in. Who is human? Who is demon? I keep saying Hugh. Who is demon? Who is human? Who is human? God damn it! Don't put
Hugh is human.
Don't put
who is
who and human in the same goddamn sentence, you bastards. Who is to tell? As Batman investigates the songs and the demons of Gotham, he is forced to confront the oldest question: whether there has been a demon within him all along, and if so, what does it want, and why hasn't it taken over yet? What I'm getting from this is Ram V is not shying away from the horror influence that he seems to have in a lot of his work.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's actually a new editor on this book for this month. Jess Chen, who has been the Batgirl editor since like the start of Rebirth. She's done a lot of stuff for DC over the last few years.
I want to say she's been editing even the main Bat book for a while, she not?
I don't know about Batman. I'm not certain.
I feel like she's had the title of Bat Family Editor for a while, even if she wasn't editing specifically the main two books.
And Welgiaz, who did the Man Bat book.
Yeah, I don't know. I know she's been doing Batgirl and Batgirls primarily, but is moving on to being the tech editor here, which is part of why we've got a new team. So it'll be a completely new approach. They're using Gothic opera as the two-word pitch as to just the tone of what it's going to be. And oh man, I'm so into this.
I figured you would be. Once I heard opera and Ram V, I go, oh, Connor's gonna be all over this, right? And then Albuquerque, of course, who doesn't like Albuquerque's art? And then when I saw Cy Spurrier and Danny on the backups,
and it doesn't mention it there, but Matt, you mentioned they're doing a Gordon backup.
Yeah, yep, that's the first. So Cy Spurrier said that the first backup is going to be about Gordon and him coming back to Gotham, and basically what the backups are about is him investigating all these little weird things in Gotham. So yeah, which after Danny, after the Arkham book, right? That feels right in line.
Do you know what so there's nice covers here as well. There's a Behermo one, which obviously you know what Behermo looks like. It's typical Behermo. But I really like it because it's Batman in the daylight. Like, so it's a typical Batman, like, crouching on a rooftop. But it's in the daylight, and the subtle I like how subtle it is. But there's actually like a bunch of bats making the bat symbol against the sun. Not unlike, say, the opening of Batman Begins. But I like that it's not like super in your face. It's just subtle enough that it just doesn't feel like it's overbearing.
Yeah, no, it's great. All the covers are great. So you got the main one, which is actually the first cover on Newsarama. You've got the kind of the tarot card one.
Yep, the Hangman.
Yeah, and then the opera, like the
playbill.
Yeah, yes, thank you. They hand out like, it's so good.
This looks like a Batman opera that would be called like Deflator Mouse, something like that.
Even like on that where the ridiculously ornate half bat mask and then the devil horn, like for the demon stuff on the other side. I love it.
Yeah.
So we got new teams on Batman and Detective, and I've loved the current Detectives team, and I did really enjoy Tynan's Batman, and it was a little bit more up and down, but that was a pretty short run. Obviously, just doing his little crossover just now before we get to this stuff in July. But the two main Bat books both getting a fresh new set of teams, and Zarsky and Ram V are not writers that I am upset about taking over those books by any means.
Not at all.
It really feels like Ram V's rising up the ranks. He's been kind of like inching his way up over the last couple of years, and
what he feels like to me, and this is going to sound like I'm just naming people I'm a fan of, but it's a very similar trajectory to what Tynan had. In that, started on like a few little Tynan did backups. Ram V started on like some anthology books. And then they get like, okay, some side smaller books, some little minis here, like Tal and stuff. And then we're going to give you Detective after you've showed yourself you can handle a few things. Here's Detective now. So
yeah. So that's cool. So moving on, Flashpoint Beyond issue 3. Not much to say, I don't think.
Very confused about that. I thought Flashpoint Beyond was twice a month, and we were already.
Yeah, we said that last Solicits as well.
Yes, and last Solicits was issue 5. That's why I'm confused.
I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just see what issue's coming out when I'm checking what's out next week, and just go from there. It seems a bit wonky. Maybe they were being too ambitious with their every other week scheduling. Dark Crisis issue 2. Obviously, this is the big event coming in the summer. Titan's Tower looks to be on fire. That is the
the House of Nightwing burns, allegedly.
See you later, Titans Academy. That's what that tells me.
So, yep, there you go. Pretty cool.
There's something very poetic about Slade and Nightwing, right? Going to war in an event. You know, just all the way back to the Judas Contract stuff.
There's obviously a few covers there. One of them is the tower burning again, but Deathstroke's on his knees in front of it, and he's like, no!
It's got like a Ra's al Ghul cape on with the big collar.
Yeah.
It's not green, but it's stylish.
No, but he's definitely wearing a collar akin to Disco Nightwing.
There's actually a couple of preview pages here as well. It's like a 2-page spread of Nightwing and Deathstroke fighting.
Yeah.
It looks very pretty because Sam's here, but oh man, I could not be less excited for this book.
I'm gonna read the shit out of it. It might be terrible. It might not. I might have event fatigue 2 pages into Dark Crisis 1, but I'm still gonna read it.
Well, there's your two extreme ends of the spectrum. Next up, we got Dark Crisis World Without a Justice League Superman issue 1. It's a really convoluted title, but this is a one-shot tie-in by Tom King, writing, and art by Chris Burnham. So
I'm sure it's a one-shot and not like a couple of issue mini.
Doesn't say of.
It doesn't say either way. Yeah.
No.
Admittedly, yeah. It normally would say one shot as well, admittedly, but I'm going to err on the side of one shot.
That's fair. Yeah.
Mainly because the title sounds like a one shot.
That's true. It sounds like Worlds Without a Justice League, and then there'll be a series of Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe they'll all be Tom King. Maybe it'll feel like a series, but I suspect it might just be different teams. And
I'll be willing to bet it's all just random.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a main story, and then it looks like there's a backup too.
Yeah, there's a backup by Brandon Thomas and Chuck Brown.
Yeah.
And art by Fico Ocio.
Yeah, there was a really nice cover though with Superman flying with Robin, which is interesting visual. Dark Crisis Young Justice issue 2. This is the tie-in miniseries. This is issue 2 of 6 here. This is the Megan Fritz-Martin written with Laura Braga art. So, I'm not super pumped for this still, but I'm curious to at least check it out once the event's going and seeing what it actually adds to it. But I've got a feeling it's not going to be that great. But
yeah,
mainly just because none of the creative team are like filling me with hope.
I like Laura Braga a lot.
Oh sure, but writing side not as exciting.
That's fair.
The Flash 784.
Dark Crisis tie-in.
Yep. Which makes sense. You got Pariah on the cover. I guess this is the one main book though that it makes sense to tie into it, just because we're dealing with Barry. Because this is about looking for Barry.
Where Barry's at.
Yeah. So makes a decent amount of sense at least. Then we have Black Adam, The Justice Society Files, Hawkman issue 1. That's a mouthful. What was it with these
This is
colons?
clearly a movie tie-in, and if that wasn't clear, I mean, let me rephrase that. Tie-in implies connected to the movie. That's not fair, but more cash-in on the fact that there's a movie coming out. If that wasn't clear, one glance at the cover will tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, it looks like The Rock.
There's Dwayne.
The only interesting thing about this is that the co-writer is Brian Q. Miller, who I have not seen in a comic book in quite some time.
Hey, and I like Kevin Scott. We went over this, I think, last week.
But Brian Q. Miller wrote an excellent run on Batgirl, starring Stephanie Brown, back in 2009 to 2011. So, I wouldn't say I'm particularly excited about this, but if this is his foot in the door to writing DC Comics again, then by all means, get him on a book.
Hey, he wrote that Smallville season 11 for years.
Yeah.
Get him on a book that I care about.
It's also got art by Scott Eaton, Marco Santucci, and Norm Rapman, which is not bad.
Yeah,
these are all pretty, middle tier names at DC that you're used to seeing. They're not just we'll throw anyone on our tie-in book.
Yeah, it's a 40-80-page book, so I assume it's going to be a couple, 2 or 3 shorter stories rather than one big one.
I would assume so. Yeah.
But there you go. So that's that. Then we got Artemis Wanted issue 1. This is a one-shot by Vita Ilea and art by Skylar Partridge. 48 pages, $6. Yeah. After the Trial of the Amazons event, so it's it's a sort of a kind of an epilogue style one-shot to that, but just about Artemis.
Yep, and her big axe.
Yeah.
Big glowing axe.
So, given that given that we aren't reading the event, I don't imagine we'll read this.
Almost certainly not.
Next up, DC Mech issue 1. This is Kerry Porter with art by Baldmir Rivas. I have no idea what this is. This is a new miniseries, 6 issues.
Oh, we spoke about this a few weeks ago.
Did we?
This was this month's just like Jurassic Park League.
Oh yeah.
Where was the It's Justice League, but they're in mechs.
They kind of
miss me with this one.
They look like Jaegers from Pacific Rim more than anything.
Well,
because they're mechs.
That's because they're mechs. Yeah. Yeah. This one doesn't seem like it's for me. Connor, let me know how it is.
Yeah, this looks exactly like my sort of shit.
Although I get to that last cover and it's one of them is punching another one, and it does look kind of my shit.
It's giant robots punching each other. How is that not everyone's shit?
True.
Look at Superman standing on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Flash's like head looking kind of RoboCop-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So so that's neat. I mean, this might be terrible. It's really hard to.
I mean, it could be. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be.
I mean, the giant Darkseid's a cool look. I mean, it looks like he has World engines on him, right? Like, so that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Then we got Young Justice Targets issue 1. This is 1 of 6 new miniseries starting. Greg Weisman writing, Christopher Jones on the art.
This is the one we spoke about last week, which is the Young Justice TV show tie-in.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember talking about that at all, but I'll take your word for it.
No, we definitely did.
I'm not denying it. I don't remember it. So, there you go. You can tell by the cover, though, that it's tied to the show, though, because it's intentionally looking like the characters from the show. Then we got Superman Space Age, issue 1. This is the Mark Russell and Mike Allred book that we've spoken about. This is 3 prestige 80-page issues in the style of, Harleen or...
Superman Smashes the Klan. They were quite long issues.
And put Batman Imposter. I wasn't thinking Superman Smashes the Klan. Although, was that eventually Dark Black Label? Because I was trying to compare it to other Black Label books.
I don't know, actually.
Smashes the Klan was originally out on their kids one, whatever.
It was originally a kids YA graphic novel, but then they put it out as like 3. I think it was 80 pages.
Yeah, but I don't think that was actually Black Label, which is why I never thought of that one. I was thinking it was just the other books like this. I mean, I don't think this doesn't say Black Label, but it's reminding me of Black Label more than anything else.
Yeah, one Dark Knight was like that.
Yeah. I mean, this might be very intentionally not Black Label because they want to sell it to all ages.
I was going to say, this is not. By the way, I think this is longer than most of those prestige issues that we're talking about tend to be about 60, 65 pages. This is 80. So seems a little bit longer than some of those.
Yeah, this looks like exactly my kind of thing. I'm so 100%. In that first cover right there. It's got like the life aspects of Superman.
Yeah, just in all the pencil sketches.
Yep.
It's kind of great, yeah.
I like the one where he's in space.
Well, then this is the book for you.
Oh, what's been the cover? I like the cover that he's in space.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he's probably going to be in space a lot.
The third cover looks like a very pulpy, like this almost could be a cover for Action Comics right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yes, it seems like an interesting book. I'm curious to check it out. Next up, Batman White Knight presents Red Hood issue 1. This is a 2-issue mini in the White Knight universe. So, issue 1 of 2. There you go. Not much to add, really. Although I should mention that Murphy is co-writing with Clay McCormick.
Mm-hmm.
So
an art by Simone DeMeo.
Yeah. And then speaking of White Knight, they've got Curse of the White Knight Deluxe Edition coming out as well. They've solicited that here. So cool. Batman Superman World's Finest issue 5. This is the Mark Waid Dan Moore book. So yeah, nice cover.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice and old school. I like that variant too, actually. Superman with the heat vision, Batman's in the background. It's sort of the painted cover.
It's a Matina cover, right?
It's Matina-esque. I don't know if it actually is Matina. It is Matina. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh yeah, sometimes you get like an artist just similar, because there's at least one similar artist that every so often I mistake for Matina.
Oh, I know the one you're on about, yeah.
But DC versus Vampires All Out War issue 1 of 6. But this is Matthew Rosenberg and Alex Packnadel with art by Pascal Quilano. So let's read what this is actually. One of the last secret underground human cities is facing total annihilation, and its leader, John Constantine, must plan a suicide mission to assassinate a key lieutenant in the Vampire Empire. Against unreal odds, and with an unlikely team including Booster Gold, Deathstroke, and Mary Marvel, does the Hellblazer have one more trick up his sleeve. A gritty, violent, monochromatic companion series to DC versus Vampires. Which is a brutal story. So, do you know what is interesting about this is that clearly DC versus Vampires is doing well enough, because not only have they greenlit a couple of one-shots, they've now greenlit a 6-issue tie-in miniseries as well.
Yeah. It's also interesting to me to see Alex Packnadel's name attached to this, because he is another member of the White Noise Studio, which is Ramvi, Dan Waters, Packnadel, and there's O'Sullivan as well. So I think this will be the third one now working at DC.
Ramvi opened the door, held it open, let all his
pretty much
friends
like,
in.
hey guys, come on, get in.
It's just funny to me.
I don't know if that's bad, because Waters has been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
So
sure. I think what's funny to me about this is just the idea that this 12-issue book, which was kind of just an anomaly that Tynion kind of drew up because he had nothing else to do, and then things changed. So then Rosenberg came along and decided to script it, or was given it to script. But
and now Rosenberg's coming up with the ideas for this one, presumably.
Yeah, but now it's like expanding beyond. And it was one thing where it was just, here's an extra one shot, just to sort of like maybe.
And then there was a second one shot.
Yeah. And there's a 6-issue minute, and it's like, oh wait, this is going to end up being just as long spanning as Deceased now, by the sounds of it. But it's, because it wouldn't surprise me if there's another couple of minis or one shots added onto this.
I mean, I think this will have more issues than Deceased, right? Because Deceased was, if you look at the page count, it was essentially 3 6-issue minis, right?
Oh, just 3. That's because also Unkillables.
Yeah. So, but no. Anyways,
speaking of possible cover artists that I mistake Matina for, the second cover on this is Matina-esque, but it's not Matina.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're on about.
It's Kale Nigu.
New.
There you go. But
there's a Stoko cover.
Scary.
Is the Stoko cover there?
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, I see it. But yeah, so yeah, All Out War. So there's a DC versus Vampires 6-issue mini, which I assume is just running alongside the main book, because that'll still be going.
Well, we'll find out later, won't we, if it's still being solicited or if it's on a break.
I'd be surprised if it were on a 6-month break, though. It's one thing being off for a month or two while this starts, but I don't see it.
It might alternate months.
Multiversity of Teen Justice issue 2.
I forgot this existed.
So did I.
Okay, that's all right then. I don't feel too bad about it.
There's so many weird minis right now that I just don't remember them existing. It's
a shame that a lot of them aren't appealing to me.
Yeah, that's the bigger problem, is that a lot of them just aren't striking much interest. We got Batman versus Robin Road to War.
We're just collections now.
Well, we're not done with it.
The promotional collections.
We're not just at collections though. That implies we're done.
I just wanted to specify this was a collection.
Even though there's a lot of writers in this actually. What is this?
Teen Titans Annual, Detective Comics, 2-part backup.
It's basically where Batman and Robin had, a falling out, and now they're putting it back together for Shadow War.
That 2-part backup that it says that sets the stage for the new chapter of life in Damian. And that was what led into Robin, right?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Was that
106
not
and
collected
Detective
in
1034.
Robin?
Maybe?
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, it was.
It should have been, because that was basically Zero.
Yeah.
No, it was, because the trade ended at issue 4, so yeah, it had
This is
those
such
two.
a weird trade. Then is this for people who are enjoying Robin and are like, what the hell is going on with Robin right now?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Yeah, this is basically the end of that Teen Titans book, and like the two Detective Comics issues leading into like Robin in the backup.
Yep.
Like that's what this is. This is a weird collection. So I actually, it really took me a second to realize what the hell this was, because I saw Williamson, Tomasi, and Robbie Thompson all listed in the writers, and I'm like, what is this? But yeah, that's what it is. So Constantine, Distorted Delusions. This is one of your graphic novels.
It's another Cami Garcia one.
Yeah, Cami Garcia and Isaac Goodhart on the art, with the very young CWS Constantine on the cover.
This, you know how if you watch the TV news that we do, we talked about the Aqualad one is getting adapted for HBO Max. This is ripe for a CW adaptation already.
It does, yeah.
Well, it involves him joining a punk band, so that's pretty cool.
That is Constantine's past.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
That's legit?
Mucous Membrane, yeah. That's his band.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm not surprised. I don't think you're the market for this book, to be fair, though.
No, that's fair. Dead Man Tells the Spooky Tales. That's a good title. I appreciate that title. It's not a graphic novel. Written by Franco. Just one word. I'm not familiar with this Franco.
Me neither.
But cool. A lot of artists though, but it says Spooky Tales, so I assume it's it's one writer, but it's an anthology style book with all these different artists taking a story each, which is a neat idea. I appreciate the pulpiness of the cover, particularly the. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the art style per se, but I like what it's going for, and I like the font of the title. The sort of the goo dripping title.
Why don't we have like a Spectre or Dead Man book that's like Tales from the Crypt?
Because apparently that won't sell.
Yeah, I don't know.
They should do it. And basically, all of the writers at DC who like to write horror books just rotate through them. Like give Ram V an issue 1 month, give Tynion an issue 1 month. I'm sure they'll have fun with just little short stories they can do in one issue.
Kind of like the like Batman Black and White, like those color anthologies that we've got, but for the horror side of DC Universe.
There you go. The Batman One Dark Knight collection, solicited here. Obviously, we're still waiting on issue 2. We just had issue 2, but this is the hardcover, which is coming out in September, which seems like a reasonable enough time to get issue 3 out.
It's pretty normal, yeah.
So that's cool. I Am Batman Volume 1, of course, that's the John Ridley, the new Jace Batman book being collected. And then we got Robin and Batman. This is the Jeff Lemire book that finished recently. 3 issues. Was pretty good. So that's cool.
Enjoyable.
We got Harley Quinn, the animated series, Volume 1, the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour. That's collected. Yeah, so... and then Harley Quinn, 30 Years of the Maid of Mischief, the Deluxe Edition.
Oh, that collects some random bullshit.
Yes, it does.
That's a lot of single issues it's collecting. Because you
got 2 issues of Gotham City Sirens.
Do when you get to the solicits, and you look at the end of the solicitation, and it'll say, Detective 982 to 989 plus maybe like Batman issue 72 because it is relevant. This is just a list of lots of one issues.
Yeah, if you thought that Robin book was a mess of collections, this time they didn't even bother listing everyone involved. It was just various, various, art by various. It's cool.
Oh, because it would have literally been a different creator team for every single issue.
Yeah,
barring the 2 Gotham City Sirens issues, which I assume are the same.
I would assume so, yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, one of those random collections that I would never want. It'd just be weird. Wonder Girl Homecoming, Joelle Jones. So this is collecting issue 187. It has the 2 Future State issues, and it has the Trial of the Amazons 2-issue tie-in, which is a bit weird because I was under the impression that was like parts, 5 and 8 of the story.
It is.
So that's a weird choice, but
it's also interesting that they're throwing an Infinite Frontier 0 in there, and
maybe
it says that, so that usually means the whole issue rather than sections from.
It usually does, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's a slight typo or mistake, and it's actually just the part that's relevant to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say otherwise that's a lot of, because that wasn't a short issue, that was a pretty oversized issue.
Yeah. But I appreciate though that the 2 Future State issues and her entire 7-issue book are in one trade.
I think that's important for that to exist like that.
Yeah. So that's fair. It's a shame that I went downhill and I wasn't really into it by the end. I didn't even read issue 7 because I just didn't care anymore. But at least in a collecting standpoint, I appreciate that. Wonder Woman Black and Gold, obviously the collection of those Black and Gold anthology issues. Not much to say. It's a really nice cover though. I like the yellow or the gold popping on the black and white cover.
That's Bartel, and if you like how that looks, the gold popping, that might be the book for you, because that's kind of the aesthetic of the whole book.
Yeah. So, but back out of the proper single issues then. Action Comics 1045, our Action Comics run of Dreams is continuing.
Interestingly, the conclusion nears, it says.
Yeah. I will say that second cover I do not like that much. Superman's face looks weird.
Yep.
Not for me. That's the.
I mean, it's fine. There's a great regular cover.
Oh sure, but don't like it. He's standing in profile and it still is kind of weird. But cool.
It looks like a statue of Caesar, like down at Caesar's Palace.
We got Aquaman, The Flash, Void Song issue 2. This is the Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, with art by Vasco Georgiev. So that's issue 2 of 3.
Gorgiev.
Or Gorgiev, sorry. But this is these are like 3 oversized issues, not quite the the 80 pagers, but 56 pages each. So interesting they're trying that with some of these, otherwise, because this feels like it would just be a regular 6-issue mini. They've just decided to package it into 3 bigger chapters. So it's just interesting.
The cynic in me, I wonder if this is kind of a way of manipulating the orders, because you've got to order, you only got to order 3 issues. You're more likely to stay invested over 3 issues, even if they are more expensive. There's presumably a lower drop off rate.
That's probably true, just because the longer a book goes on, the more people drop off. So if you do it in 3 instead of 6, it's easier to get to that end point with more people keeping the book. Also, and this is even more cynical perhaps, is that it means they have to order the final issue of the series before they've sold any of the first issue.
I mean, kind of messed. They put their initial orders, but the final order cut-off's usually about a month before, so they'll have definitely sold the first issue, and possibly the second, or the second will be like just coming out around the time they'll be putting in final order for the third.
Still though, it does, and I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. Like if we end up with if all 6-issue minis become 3-issue minis that are all double-sized issues, that's not the worst thing in the world. Like,
yeah, it makes it a little bit more of a gamble to try the first issue because it is more expensive, and it's more of a commitment just in terms of reading time. Sometimes that can put me off. Like where if there's a 20-page book that I'm like not super hot on, but I'm like, yeah, I mean maybe I'll give it a try. It's 20 pages. But then you tell me, oh, there's 50 pages of this book that I'm like.
If you're just looking at one book, that's a fair point. But I think if you're looking at a sort of macro level, if they're all switching to this format, then theoretically they'll be evened out so that you'll be getting the same amount of pages per week, give or take, if all the minis switch to this format. That said, though, sometimes they'll put them all out in the 1 week, and then there'll be 3 weeks of nothing because they've done that to us before.
Dickheads.
But in theory, it should be okay. Aquaman Andromeda issue 2, Ram V, with Christian Morris as the Prestige Plus book that.
So a lot of these Prestige books, 48 pages, 60 pages, 80 pages was big for this Prestige books. I was right.
Obviously, it's Ram V and Christian Ward. Ram V alone makes it something that we're excited about.
Cover makes it look like Black Manta has a lightsaber, and that's cool.
That is cool.
Wait, is this something like cover? Oh, that's okay. There you go. Aquaman issue 6. So that's Is that not
Still
many?
going.
Oh, it's still ongoing. That's right. I think I said this last month as well.
Yeah, this was part of what the rumors were. Interestingly, although it doesn't seem to have been confirmed, there was a lot of talk that this was actually going to get cancelled. This issue, and the talk was that it was always actually planned as a 6-issue mini, but they didn't want to tell retailers that because retailers tend to order less of a mini than they do of an ongoing. So they were like, "Hey, retailers, it's it's an ongoing," and then it was internally they were referring to it as a mini, but they would just extend it if it sold well. It did not sell well. Apparently, issue 2 dropped to something like 19,000 orders, which was pretty low. Although then they did announce like an extra Jim Lee cover to like boost the orders a bit, but either way, it didn't sell too hot. So there was a lot of expectation that this was just going to have a final issue stamp here.
I mean, it's a Dark Crisis tie-in, so maybe it's just going to exist to be a tie-in for a couple issues, and then finish.
That, or they're going to do that shitty thing that has been a bit of a trend recently, where they don't tell us it's the final issue until next month solicits. It's just not there.
I'd rather didn't do that. I like them to be upfront about it, but
I do as well. Yeah.
But hey, it's a shame I'm not invested in like this expanding Aqua line, because like I really was into Aquaman for a long time between the Abnett and then the Kelly Sue stuff. But just the one or two I tried of the new era kind of just were a bit mediocre. Batgirl's issue 8 is coming out.
Yeah, some fun covers.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Batman Beyond Neo Year issue 4, so that's still going. 6-issue mini, so issue 4 or 6.
Yeah.
Batman Fortress issue 3. This is the Gary Whitta book, which has not started yet. This is an 8-issue series, so cool. We got Batman Killing Time issue 5, so that's the penultimate issue of that bad boy. In July, we got Batman the Night issue 7, which is 7 of 10. So that'll still be going when Chip's on the main book. We'll still have his miniseries going.
We're doing the Zatanna stuff in this issue.
Yeah. Booster him some magic. Looks like blood magic on the cover though. That's not good, man.
I'm sure it's just a dramatic effect for the cover.
The variants
Zatanna wouldn't dabble with such forbidden things.
Yeah, the variant's kind of funny to me. It's like Zatanna's firing like a lightning bolt through her legs to like propel herself up, and she's got this sort of look in her face that she's like, "Wee!"
Yeah,
I thought there was something really funny about it.
Bruce looks terrified.
We got Batman Urban Legends issue 17. Yeah, so a bunch of stories in there, which is cool. We got Black Adam issue 2. Remember, this is the new Christopher Priest book. That's starting in June. So
with a very young looking Black Adam there.
Yeah, it does look very young in that cover, doesn't he?
A little bit teenagery.
Maybe there's some flashbacks in this issue or something.
I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah. And it's not just like the art being weird. Blood Syndicate season 1 issue 3. So this is more
Milestone stuff.
Yeah, Milestone. That's the word I was looking for. Catwoman issue 45 by Tini Howard, so that's still going. And that would be a very nice cover, although Tim's looking a bit weird.
I agree. I was like halfway down it, and I was like, oh, I really like that cover, like the aesthetic and the design.
Yeah, and then you get
then I
Tim's
got
face.
to Tim's face. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, but then on the other cover, it looks like the Decal cover. It looks like Michelle Pfeiffer.
It does. Then there's one with the neon like meow signs.
Yeah,
behind
and
it.
That's your classic Jenny Frisian covers at this
Yep,
point.
then there's your Frisian cover, and we're just spoiled with them at this point.
Yeah,
there's so many, and they're all amazing.
Yeah, DC versus Vampire issue 7, so yeah, it's not taking time off. It will be running alongside. It's actually interesting because that's issue 7, meaning that
they'll finish at the same time.
Yeah, they'll both run concurrently until they finish, unless one of them gets delayed by a month somewhere. But in theory, they should finish.
Also,
at the same
some
time.
great variants.
I'm just going to.
Which is good because the main cover is Killer March. So.
Is that Killer March?
Yeah, covered by Gil March.
It's got his signature on it as well.
Yeah, it's not bad though.
Pete's like, I don't hate it. This can't be Gil March.
Yeah,
it doesn't look as bad as his stuff usually does. To be honest,
look at like his Green Arrow's like chest and shoulders and down the arms.
I mean, there's a bit of it, but the faces are not as bad as normal. Like, there's definitely
the faces aren't as bad.
It's definitely more restrained. I do agree the cover with Vampire, Superman, and Wonder Woman is better.
I'm a big fan of the Canary Slayer one.
The Canary, yeah, and let's be honest, there's some Buffy referencing going on here.
Probably.
Just because a blonde is being a vampire slayer does not make it a Buffy reference.
Come on. So you get Deathstroke Inc. issue 11. Remember, let's switch to Ed Brisson.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Deathstroke year 1, which I don't know. Maybe it's a nice cover though. I mean, it's
family
Yannick,
cover is cracking me up though. It looks like a portrait of a Stuffield family.
Why does Rose look so young?
Yeah, because I think that's one of those ones where they're trying to show that. But why is that Damien? Like,
unless it's supposed to be like in the past, that's why they both.
Oh, sure.
Like that.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, so the old one's not dead. So the sort of normal man is Deathstroke, and the really old one is Deathstroke's father. Then is that what we're saying?
That's maybe, but he's holding the set, so I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't, because also that one's looking like Damien, but I know it's not. So is that supposed to be?
Because I would have said
Grant.
Because I would say Deathstroke's in the back. I'd say maybe Joseph's the older son. And then
because Grant was older than Joseph. Joseph's down here, you would guess. Unless this is meant to be Respawn.
Yeah, because I had this when the young kid was Respawn.
Yeah.
But Rose is meant to be like older than him.
Right.
And she looks like she's younger or the same age.
But it's so funny to me. Just it looks like one of those stuffy family portraits, but it's Deathstroke.
It's a weird thing. We got Duo issue 3. This is the Greg Pak book. This is part of Milestone as well.
Yep.
Fables 153 is coming out.
That's a good cover.
We got Future State Gotham issue 15. And then I'm
surprised that's still going.
As am I, to be honest. In fact, is that even still yeah, it's Dennis Culver now. Yeah, this moved on from, was it Williamson who was writing that to begin with? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
It was someone. It wasn't Culver, it was someone else. We got Harley Quinn issue 17. I'm sure Connor's going to enjoy that when he gets to it.
Make me miserable. Matt, they're doing wrestling with masks. Do you know
nope.
That's boxing, not wrestling.
I realized that when I saw the gloves. I just saw the masks and just assumed that they were doing like a luchador thing, but they're not. And yeah, never mind.
No, but I mean it's Rosmo, so absolutely not.
I Am Batman issue 11's coming out, and then we got Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes issue 5. Yes, that Bendis miniseries is still a thing. I know you've all forgotten, but it is a thing. Looney Tunes issue 267, Mad Magazine 27, Monkey Prince issue. That's underneath Mad Magazine and Looney Tunes. That's a bit of a demotion for it.
Alphabetical, man.
Is it? Oh, I guess it is.
L-M.
I feel like sometimes they put them at the end, though. Like they're right at the bottom.
Yeah,
usually.
No. This one's still alphabetical.
Yeah, we still got more stuff, yeah. Naomi Season 2, issue 5. We got Nightwing issue 94. Nightwing and Babs getting smoochy on that main cover.
Oof. Yeah, but this other cover.
Oh yeah, the
Redondo
blockbuster coming out of the city.
God damn it! Every cover is gold.
And then there's a Dick and Wally cover as well, where they're
so good,
having some of Matt's sweet nectar.
Yes, but I like that Dick has a Batman cup and Wally has a Nightwing cup. That is hilarious.
Yeah. I like the idea. That's what Dick has in his cupboard. He's got various Bat Family mugs.
Huh?
Yeah, that makes some sense to me.
Funny.
Just the box of plasters as well, just the band-aids for the Americans.
Yeah, well, clearly they've been out. They've been fighting criminals. They've got some scraps, some scratches. Yeah, so makes sense to me. Nubia Queen of the Amazons issue 2 of 4.
Which definitely has the wrong covers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely a dinosaur cover.
Both of them. I think the second dinosaur cover is hilarious. I love it.
Yep, me too.
Describe it for the audience who can't see it.
It is a Deathstroke playing with little toy... not Deathstroke. Darkseid playing with little toy dinosaurs of the Justice League. And it's like a child Darkseid.
Right, which has the Wonder Woman Triceratops, the Allosaurus Batman, the Brachiosaurus Superman, And then what looks like an Inklaser with Darkseid,
Yeah.
which that's pretty cool. But that looks like a Scotty Young variant, which
I mean,
might be,
I'm sure we'll
but-
find out when we get to that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out when we actually get to the book that's associated with. Poison Ivy issue 2. This is the G. Willow Wilson and Marcio Takara book that's starting in June.
And oh my god, what a cover!
It is a pretty nice cover, right? Joe, it's actually nice to see her in something. It's not just the typical Ivy like leave dress or something.
I like the
second cover is like that as well.
The Pam jumpsuit is very nice. I like that second cover, and then you get the Frisian with the roses. Oh man, I'm in trouble.
Oh, they're all great.
All the covers.
The main cover is the one for me out of these, to be honest. It appeals to me the most, but
yeah,
cool. Robin issue 16.
Still going.
It's cool, yeah. Looks like we're going to be dealing with some Robin and Flatline stuff, which is nice. I've enjoyed the introduction of their relationship, so it's nice that the book will be getting back to that after War of Shadows. Superman Son of Kal-El issue 13. There was a bit of news associated with this one as well, because Nicole Maines is co-writing this one and is bringing Dreamer into the DCU via this book.
Yeah, I think she's done a couple of or at least one of the Pride anthology stories.
Just a standalone. Yeah. Whereas this is actually bringing the character into the DCU as opposed to just being like a standalone little side thing. So I saw some tweets about it. So that's neat. So the cover is obviously heavily features her, so that's cool. Yeah, that's nice. We got Task Force Z issue 10 of 12. So nice. And then we have the Jurassic League issue 3.
Wonder Dawn.
What?
Wonder Woman's dinosaur name is Wonder Dawn.
Let's see. So cool. We get Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country issue 4.
And Danny is the guest artist for that issue.
Pretty good. Oh, jeez,
sure.
I don't like that cover.
There's one for each issue if people have forgotten.
And then the Swamp.
Shouldn't have scanned down.
The Swamp Thing issue 15, which is the penultimate issue of that. Unfortunately, I'm not ready for that to be over, but if that's where we're going, nice cover, of course.
I wonder if that's a personification of the green, because that's what it kind of looks like.
And then we get Wonder Woman 789. The good news about this is that this is post crossover.
Oh, Lou Pacino on art? Are you kidding me?
Spoiling
Get
us.
it.
Yeah, some good stuff there. And we're still doing Dr. Psycho stuff, which is nice, which was set up before. So
he's standing on the table on the variant cover. I can't.
That's funny, Amy. That's fine. So cool. So they're reprinting the Gotham City Sirens omnibus. Although they've renamed the Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens.
Of course they have.
That's a little annoying.
It's a good solid run though. If you like the Sirens, I enjoy them.
Oh sure.
The two kind of thick trades of it.
It's just the principle of the renaming to try and
I know, but if it sells more, it's annoying. But I don't care enough to gatekeep it away from I mean, if this is what shifts copies and this is how you get a reprinting.
Yeah, I don't want to gatekeep. I just wish they had some backbone and just try to market it properly so people will know what it is without having to plaster the literal title of the character into it. Pretty sure a big photo of Harley Quinn in the cover will do the trick, but
doesn't give you that searchability though, does it? If you're on Amazon.
What you do is you just treat it like you've got like a cast and just say starring Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy.
It still doesn't have you in your title for searching on like Amazon or your bookstore.
That's what tags are for.
Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Well, that's what they changed it to after the movie bottom, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Joker Puzzle Box Collection. We got House of Mystery Bronze Age Omnibus Volume 3. So it's nice to reprinting old stuff like that. Commanded by Jack Kirby Volume 1. soft cover. I assume that was already in an omnibus or a hardcover prior.
I would assume so, yeah.
New Teen Titans Omnibus Volume 1, new printing, which is notable because they actually did get all the way through that in the 3 omnibuses, or no, 4 omnibuses maybe even. But it's nice that they're keeping these in print. It's nice that this isn't the sort of thing where you have to be terrified that the first volume is going to go out of print. And
yeah, I think it was just this week, maybe next week, that the reprint of Gotham Central omnibus.
Yeah, it was this week. I saw photos of the stacks of copies.
Oh, there you go then.
From various shops. So that's cool. Second volume of Johnson's Action Comics being collected, which is cool. Issues 1036 to 1041. Second batch of the Joker. Second Ram v Swamp Thing trade, which is issues 5 to 10. Which means it'll be 3 trades total. Although I suspect you'll probably get a nice big deluxe hardcover of the whole thing once it's all said and done.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah. Who's Who, Omnibus Volume 2.
And then Wonder Woman trade.
Aye. And that wraps up. That's the Solicits.
There is a notable omission with a reason. I don't know if either of you have noticed it.
It's really hard to just sort of remember what didn't come up, but go on.
That is fair, especially as the first issue has not come out yet and will not come out now.
Uh-oh.
Ever?
Well, for the foreseeable future at least. There is no resolicit date being given.
Go on.
The Tom King and Fornes book.
Oh, yeah. He's going to address that on Twitter.
Say the title again?
Danger Street.
There you go.
Yeah. DC have told retailers that all the orders have been cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
What was the update from Twitter?
So he did say that it's just being moved, so it'll be out eventually. But DC is taking it off right now. Someone in the Fornes is behind on something, and that's why. Yeah,
maybe. This has happened a few times over the last few years, and it usually just means it'll be out in 4 months later, 6 months later, whatever it is. It's worth mentioning the rumblings that the Warner Brothers Discovery merger has officially went through, and apparently the people in charge now are considering some sort of proper complete shakeup of what DC Entertainment is doing movie wise as a brand. Specifically saying that there needs to be some sort of Kevin Feige figure who's actually running it. It's
been less reported on because a lot of the websites are obviously more interested in the Hollywood side of things.
Yeah.
But apparently they are looking at shaking up the comic side of it as well. They want the vertical content. Basically, they want to be able to go, this comic will then be promoted. We'll use that as a pitch for this movie or this TV show. They kind of want that a bit more directly in-house. Because obviously that's kind of what happens anyway. They cherry pick these things, but they want it more planned.
Which makes sense from business perspective, which we would assume.
That just sounds to me like it's not really a change from us from the outside. It's more just internally how they actually structure it and plan
my worry is that we'll start getting mini-series that feel like Mark Millar series where this isn't a comic, this isn't a story, this is a pitch for a movie or a pitch for a Netflix show.
I forget who it was on Twitter, but it's that's what's great for Vertigo. Bring back Vertigo. Make that your pitch for him. Because, you have all these different things. You could just brand it through Vertigo, and there you have your pitch to develop.
I think you could argue that a lot of the Black Label stuff, you could say it kind of feels like that, but...
I'm shocked that The Imposter did not take place in the same slot as Matt Reeves' Batman. They're so real.
You're going to spoil things again, Matt.
Watch what you're saying, Matt.
I am. But it's just because The Imposter felt so much like that world.
Yeah, especially when Rat King showed up.
Yeah, right? That wasn't me. I just agreed. It's also Rat Catcher, not Rat King, but yeah.
I had to think of my feet quickly and make my Joker, right?
I getcha. But yeah, and this whole idea of a Feige-like person, I think they just mean someone that's going to keep the property straight, which I feel like they have needed, because right now the DC movies are just a mess.
They're just all over the place. By the way, for the record, I by all means completely revamp the whole thing. The only thing I say is leave Matt Reeves and his Batman movies alone.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Is it a hot take? And maybe it is, and maybe it's a bizarre choice, but I don't want a shared universe in the same way.
No.
That we've
that's
got
fine.
Gotham
Yeah,
MCU. I just keep doing standalone movies. Just knock them out.
They also said with something like the Joker, which people are like, oh, I don't want no more of that. But it was like, well, no, it was Joker was very much what Todd Phillips wanted to make.
Yeah,
right?
I don't necessarily like
disagree.
the movie. I don't want more of that movie, but
No.
it was exactly what it set out to be. And I think most importantly, from their point of view, it was cheap and made a shitload of money.
Right. So I can see that where if a creative person in Hollywood has an idea for Superman and they can do it effectively, then that's the Superman movie, right? As much as I would love a Avenger-style Justice League where it felt like it was this big, I think we're past that now.
As someone who is, very publicly burnt out on Marvel films, I don't want that to happen with DC. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm already not thrilled about all the DC films in general anyway, just superhero movies. But putting them as, they're one big cohesive story, that's not going to get me back on board. That will make me check out even more, if anything. Whereas at least now, I can check in on the Batman when I get to that,
right.
And I'm not feeling Aquaman. I'm not feeling Aquaman. I'll skip that one. But Black Adam, yeah, sure, that seems like up my street. I'll check out that one. I'm personally much more open to I'll be able to cherry pick which ones I actually want to watch, as opposed to feeling like
I don't
have to watch
really
everything.
care about a shared universe anymore. Yep. It's especially since I think Marvel, it just feels so factory produced and kind of bland most of the time now. I would rather not have that. I'd rather have a mix of different things where there's just some standout gems and then maybe the rest aren't as great. Admittedly, the current state of the DC movies right now is that I do think a lot of the projects feel just kind of whatever. They just kind of feel there.
They're afloat.
So some of them are like these weird things that are lingering from the past attempt at a universe, which is the Flash and whatever Wonder Woman does next.
Are we ever going to see the Flash? I genuinely don't know.
I mean,
based on some recent events, I would say no, but
I don't know. It's not enough. Like Ezra Miller
put too much money into that.
No, Ezra Miller would need some Kevin Spacey sized skeletons for them to actually consider reshooting.
Yeah, give him a couple of months.
The movie.
Yeah, he's on a downward spiral, man. I hope that guy gets help. That's all. But I would love something like, you remember the George Miller Justice League pitch that was making its rounds before all this?
Yeah.
Just something like that, I think, is what I want DC to do. Standalone stuff that just kind of how they approach their animation side of things. Or if they have an idea for a story, they make it, The
animation side's actually an interesting comparison because technically there is an ongoing shared universe, but there's also on top of that just, hey, we're going to just do this as well, that are completely standalone and outside of that.
Right. So, but yeah.
I really don't know what the changes mean though, in the sense that, okay, you have someone who's trying to run it or have a more coherent strategy, but if it's not going to be a shared universe, then I'm not sure why it matters so much outside of just more editorializing in the sense that you're actually trying to hire interesting directors and people to actually make interesting films. Because the biggest problem I have right now is that outside of Matt Reeves' Batman, all the movies just look kind of or sound kind of yeah, so I don't know what to make of it at this point. I'm so jaded when it comes to comic book movies and TV shows now, because we have reached such a saturation point where none of it feels special anymore. It hasn't in a while. There's just so much of it constantly that it could take something special.